With the annual NBA Finals coming to an end just a few days ago, results have left some fans feeling disappointed. The Boston Celtics in particular just didn't seem to perform that consistently. Jayson Tatum in particular showed some strength during the first 3 games, but began to fall short during the fourth. Today, we'll look more into why Jayson Tatum's performance wasn't enough for the Celtics to succeed. First 4 games of the NBA Finals, Jayson Tatum had struggled to find his footing for the duration of the first 3 games of the NBA Finals. During Game 1, his elite playmaking made up for his non-effective shooting. However, those strengths switched around in Game 2, as his playmaking was off, but he shot the ball fairly well. Game 3 saw him score another high assist total, yet once again, his shooting numbers were below average. But when it came to Game 4, nothing was working for the superstar. Tatum ended the night with 23 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. On its own, that statistic doesn't look all that bad, but was unfortunately paired with 6 turnovers and a poor shooting performance from inside the arc. Tatum shot 4 of 8 from deep, but aside from that, he went 4 of 15 from the field. The Golden State Warriors defense had also clamped down on Tatum. Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and others had done a pretty phenomenal job at making life difficult for the superstar. Tatum shot just 3 of 8 in the painted area in Game 4, struggling to convert on layups. His well-known touch just wasn't there, and at times, it looked as though he was seeking out contact rather than focusing on the shot. Now, the superstar's response. It's safe to say that Jayson Tatum was pretty bothered by his team's disappointing Game 4 loss to the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. A lost opportunity to go up 3-1 instead sees the series tied up at 2 games each through the great heroics of Golden State star Stephen Curry. Speaking with the media after a 107-97 loss, Tatum spoke more about the loss and whether it happened due to the team letting the game get away from them or the historic 43-point, 10-rebound performance coming from Curry at TD Garden. Tatum said, "It's tough. You've got to give them credit. They played well." He continued saying, "We obviously felt like we put ourselves in the position to win the game. There's a lot of things we wish we could have done differently, especially on the offensive end." He also spoke about how his team had gotten a little too stagnant in the 4th game, but that it was a new series for them. The team's coach, Ime Udoka, also had a few words to say. When asked about Tatum's scoring issues in the paint, he said that Tatum at times was looking for fouls. Udoka said that the Celtics are a team that has a tendency to load up in certain games and not in others. Next, the Warriors versus Celtics. The Warriors may not be quite as physical as the Heat and Bucks, but they were the NBA's second-best defense during this year's season for a reason. A powerful series of moves led by Draymond Green that was made up of endlessly clever defensive personnel. During Game 4, the Celtics saw a highly disappointing 9 for 34 from inside the arc during the first 3 quarters. The 4th quarter, of course, was extended garbage time as the Warriors choked off every lane to the rim. Tellingly, the Celtics shot 10 for 19 from 3-point range in the first half, but just 17 for 44 from the floor overall. Tatum's shooting line was a small part of the Celtics' struggle. He finished with 28 points on 19 shots and was 6 for 9 from the deep, but he shot just 2 for 10 inside the arc. So what exactly happened for the Warriors that allowed them to slow Tatum down? For starters, the Warriors didn't seem to alter their strategy from Game 1 that much. When Tatum got the ball, he saw a crowd consistently. Defenders of the Warriors recovered better, but whenever Tatum sized up his defender one-on-one, a sea of Warriors faces looked back at him. That's what he faced against Wiggins. As the shot clock wound down, he was once again forced to carry out a relatively predictable play. Payton of the Warriors is also a really good defender, and he made things pretty difficult for both Tatum and Brown at times. He isn't tall enough to defend Tatum completely, but he was able to keep Tatum in front and make handling the ball more difficult, which in turn made his shots more difficult, causing a drag down in percentages for the Celtics' best players. Now, previous wins, but the Celtics aren't an entirely horrible team by any means, and Tatum isn't a bad player either. The team was able to break a 12-year streak of not qualifying for the NBA Finals all the way back in 2010. 2010, and by May of this year, he was not only the most important player to lead the historic franchise back to the Larry O'Brien Trophy Series, but is also the first in history to win the Larry Bird Award. The NBA has decided that for its iconic 75th season, it would present for the first time the awards for the most valuable players of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, and in the first case, the award is given in honor of one of the Celtics' greatest legends, Larry Bird. Looking at the franchise and its history of 17 championships, Tatum is certainly the face that seeks to bring back the Celtics' past glories. He's even become the second youngest player at 24 years old to score 1,500 points in the postseason. Having a good long-range shot paired with a more important skill set both offensively and defensively, Tatum is a great heir to Bird's glories. Now we have fans' reactions. The Boston Celtics' 2021-22 season came to an end as they fell to the Golden State Warriors 103-90 in Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Although many fans were disappointed with the highly inconsistent performance, one thing they all were happy about was that the team made it to Game 6 of the NBA Finals. Fans in this realm have a tendency to be ruthless, and some may argue that that's what makes it the greatest pocket of sports fandom on a national scale, although it might be seen as being too harsh. For the majority of fans, it's simply a way of life when it comes to rooting for our teams. With that passion comes constantly changing expectations. So after the Celtics took a 2-1 advantage in the finals, it's fair to say most fans weren't expecting the green team to drop 3 straight and go out with a whimper. Now, some final thoughts. The Boston Celtics' fairy tale postseason run came to a sad end in Game 6 against the Golden State Warriors. The Celtics started to fade fast after a fiery start, and while they fought till the very end, they weren't able to make the Warriors worry after the opening stretch of the game. Anytime a team loses in the finals, it's going to be disappointing, but the way the Celtics fell apart to end this series makes it sting just a bit more. They were up 2-1 in the series, had leads in the second half of both games 4 and 5, yet managed to throw it all away. It's going to be a tough pill to swallow in the offseason. Now in other related news, Draymond and Tatum's Subway commercial ages well after finals. Draymond Green didn't score as many points as Jayson Tatum when the Warriors and Boston Celtics faced off in this year's finals, but that didn't matter as the Golden State veteran earned a 4th championship ring. Hilariously enough, the exact same concept was seen in a Subway commercial that originally came out in February 2021, but is now going viral after Green and the Warriors won the series. In the ad, Tatum claims his sub will help whoever eats it put points on the board, and Green looks like he takes it personally. Next, the Warriors' latest title is also their most surprising. For the 4th time in 8 seasons, the Golden State Warriors are NBA champions. This latest title comes after a 2-year gap, during which the Warriors somewhat resembled the powerful teamwork that ran through the league from 2015 through 2019. Golden State went just 15 for 50 during the pandemic-shortened 2019-2020 season and wasn't even invited to the NBA bubble. But just around 2 years later, Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Steve Kerr, and other teammates were back on top of the NBA world. Lastly, Canadian basketball prospect Leonard Miller withdrawing from the NBA draft. Canadian high school recruit Leonard Miller is withdrawing from the NBA draft to sign with the NBA's G League Ignite program. According to ESPN, the NBA draft withdrawal deadline mostly applies to international players, since the NCAA withdrawal deadline for those intending on maintaining college eligibility was June 1st. Miller said that his decision to withdraw from this team's draft came after consideration of what would be best for his long-term development. That's a wrap for this video. What'd you guys think of the Celtics' performance? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.